Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm not going to ask you to repeat it, but welcome to EduTECH Asia. And as you see, that was our journey to a complete technology integration where teaching and learning is basically driving technology. It's not the other way around. So I'm the Director of Technology Support from the American School of Bombay. And I've been with the school for almost about now, this will be my 14th year. And prior to that, I was basically in the aviation industry. And I used to do technology support in the airlines. Let's get started with my presentation. So this is going to be our key focus area today. It's going to be on security, compliance, staffing, and training. And what are the challenges that we face in each and every one of these particular items? Before we begin, this is kind of what we show. This is a great video to show your staff, your faculty, of the challenges that you face and how we tackle these kind of challenges. I picked out this video. It's a Japanese advertisement of the New Zealand rugby team. Anybody from New Zealand here? No? Okay. So they are the meanest team, the strongest team. And basically think of this team to be your technology team and how they deal with staff, with students. Also think of policies. Think of security, think of restrictions when you watch this entrance clip. Think of this to be the ASB IT team. It's a good video. It's a long video, but I just cut it short. But do you see these things happening in your organization? You want to do something and you get cut down like this? I'll give you 30 seconds. Just basically talk to the people at the side of you. And just this video itself, as an example, think about an example of what you saw here right now and what's happening in your organization. 30 seconds. Does anybody want to share something? Yes?
Yes, no, I think it happens every day. Oh, there's a microphone. Yes, I think it happens every day, but I work for a faith-based organisation, so I just do it anyway and just ask for forgiveness later. So that's the way I work.
That's a good example. The example that I normally give is basically when I go to my CFO and ask him for more money, because we have to implement a security decision. And that's what happens to me. I get tackled like the New Zealand rugby team. Okay, let's get back to what we were supposed to discuss about. And today's problems and challenges are mostly basically network related. If you were here for the earlier sessions where we had the HP, we had the ruckus, talk to you about security, I think so my job has become a lot more easier. They have focused on every aspect which I was going to talk about, so I don't need to talk about it anymore. But what is missing here really is the learning piece. Is that if we put all this security in our education system right now itself, if we protect our user, where is the learning? Tomorrow, that same user will take their device, go outside, and they'll be having the same kind of issues that we have, which we are protecting them for. I'm saying is that make your education environment a safe place to have failure. And yes, there is that particular thing where you have to safeguard your network as well. And there are basically values of what you can set or restrictions at what you can set, but it has to be a collaborative effort. Create teams, collaborate with your parents, your staff, your faculty, your students. Every member in your community needs to be part of creating policies in your network. I know how it works currently because I visit a lot of schools, try to understand exactly what they have as solutions. And it's the IT that basically creates these kind of restrictions. It is never a holistic approach of the entire community being involved in basically solving an issue. When everybody is involved, when it's a 360 education, that's exactly how you should be having your setups. Everybody should be involved in making a decision. It's very simple, you see. Wireless network and security, the solution. There's a policy called as divide and rule. He spoke about endpoint security. Divide and rule is very simple, is that your network should be segregated. Create different VLANs. If anybody's technical here, they'll understand what I mean. But create different VLANs. So your users, whenever anybody from outside is coming onto the network, they get separated as long as they have security enabled on their machine. Okay, so VLAN is one way of basically segregating your network to keep your network safe. The next one is basically endpoint security. Make sure you have at least an antivirus. And your network should be able to detect that you have an antivirus and it's up to date. Make sure your antivirus is up to date on all the machines. You should get an alert if something is not up to date, as well as you have to also be sure is that the learning should never stop. If there's an infected machine, they should go onto a separate VLAN. But they should still be having access to the internet because, again, like I said, learning should never stop. Visibility. As an IT leader, as your teacher, you should have visibility of what's entering into your network, because that has to become a learning point. If you see that a student or a staff machine is infected, you have to go and educate. Do not become the New Zealand rugby team. Don't go and tackle them. Use that as an education point. Teach your staff exactly what they should be doing, what they should not be doing. The responsible use policy. How many of you have a responsible use policy currently in your school? Or can I, by a show of hands, how many of you all have BYOD? All right. Do you all have a responsible use policy or an acceptable use policy? Yes, you all do. Was that written by the teachers? Or was it written by the parents? Was it written by the staff? By teachers, okay. Was there any student involvement in that? There was student involvement. That's exactly what you should do. There should be student, parent, and staff. Everybody collectively should be basically coming up with these particular policies. Password management. I think so our friend from HP spoke about two-factor authentication. It is really not simple to implement, especially when you're dealing with kids. To have two-factor authentication, it could be an image with a password. It could be your mobile device with your password. Of course, you need to basically implement it at the management level, at the finance level. Two-factor authentication is essential because your password can be broken, but at least you have safety. There is absolutely no security company that can guarantee you 100% security when it comes to the internet. Irrespective, whatever security you have, they will come at you, they will protect you. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the users, the knowledge of the users. If you're able to train your staff to basically identify these risks, it's going to become much more easier for you. Physical security. There's usually when I visit schools, I see there's a big disconnect between the physical security and the network security. The physical security is an entirely different department, and the network security is a different department. Cameras are being implemented on the campus, which is like obviously 100% coverage, but the passwords are default passwords because sometimes IT is not involved. Again, it's a holistic solution. You have to make sure that your physical security is also tied up with your IT security, and everybody's involved in basically checking to see that it's from start to end that your entire network is basically covered with security. Also, the physical security is make sure that your network, wherever you have network points, make sure they're locked. Make sure they're not active, because tomorrow somebody could just come and connect something into your network, and you would not even know that it's basically causing harm to your network. So just make sure that everything is properly secure. Whatever is not being used should be removed and should be deactivated. And then budgets. Everything is controlled by budgets. If you don't have the money, all you can do is rely on education. It's basically educating your users. You as teachers, you as leaders, you can only make it tough for somebody to break into your system. Everybody else can be broken very easily. Like I said, there's no company that can guarantee you 100% security. It is, again, it's just the user training and the user knowledge that we can basically create awareness. All right, here's a quiz for you. Name 4 important data safety measures you must take. Can anybody give me 4 data safety measures that you need to take? Okay, data doesn't exist. I'll give you one hint. Okay? Anybody else? Access control, that's a good one. That would be the 5th point. I'll give you a second hint. I think so. He saw my presentation. But it's backup, and check your backup. That's very important. You can have the backup, but if your backup is not working, it's of no use to you. Again, it's that basically if your security is broken, you will have to go back to your best backup to have everything recovered. So again, this is an education piece which is now moving to the students, it's moving to the teachers. You are all in charge of your own backups because we are doing everything online. We tell our students that you are responsible for your backup. There is no excuse in any way today that my dog ate my homework. And the earlier slide had something called as legacy software. In your networks today, do you all have something that is really old, outdated software, where the programmers stop programming, where updates are not being pushed onto them? That is a huge security risk. There's a video for that, but I think so we don't have much time, but I can show you a small clip on legacy software and old software. It could also relate sometimes to basically personnel, but this video is an interesting video. You should see it. Oops. So think of the lamp to be old legacy software. Something that does not get an update. No security updates.
Many of you feel bad for this lamp. That is because you're crazy. It has no feelings, and the new one is much better.
So the message over here is that make sure that you have updated software. Do not use old software because there are security updates that need to be regularly patched because of the kind of viruses, the kind of malware, the kind of ransomware that's being spread around. So just make sure that you have updated software onto your machine. Let's come down to compliance, licensing, and user data security. Different regions have different licensing policy. If you're going for BYOD, make sure that you have these licensing softwares if you are using them on your network. Avoid using pirated software because it comes a lot with a huge risk to your school as well as to your network. Educate your users. Piracy is illegal. Please do not do it. Also, basically, for your region, read the agreements. Read the rules and regulations. Read the agreements. It's important for you to read these agreements. Do you all read agreements? Do you all accept agreements without reading? Can I just have a show of hands? Do you read? Yep. How many of you downloaded the Terrapin app? The events app? The next question is out there. Yeah? That's because we build everything on trust. And that's our nature. We kind of trust everything because if my friend is using it, it is right to use. Again, as a user, question. Look and see exactly what does it. Read sometimes. Or just read certain parts of it. Read the privacy. This is what we educate our users. Read exactly what your rights are to the app. What you're giving access to. To download something onto your mobile device is really dangerous. I tell you why, because in India, I was saying in India right now, is everything is linked to your mobile device. Everything is linked to your mobile number. Your security, your financial information, everything is linked to your mobile number. And if you're giving easy access to the device that holds it, you really need to be very careful. So that again, read. Read all licensed agreements. And teach your students to read. Don't download without reading. Don't download any particular applications without checking to see exactly whether it's secure or it's not secure. This comes down to staffing. So in our education landscape, we had a lot of support. We had a lot of support personnel. But basically, with moving to the cloud, we had to redesign our entire setup. So right now, what we have as support is we have currently about 750 students, and we've got approximately 220 teaching faculty and staff. And based on that, we have got 2 different campuses. We have two technology directors for support only itself, and we've got an EdTech specialist, EdTech director. And as our morning session, it was pretty clear that the role of the teacher is changing. Teachers are now becoming facilitators, or are also looking at innovation at the moment, which means that you have to go back to your organization and relook at seeing job descriptions for each and every person in your organization to see that they fit into exactly how you're moving forward. This is what we focus on at the American School of Bombay. This is the key focus today for us. Teacher, student, parent, communication. Keeping them updated as to what is happening. Not only basically at the school level, but also basically on the global level. What's happening around you as well. Keeping your users continuously informed about information is very important. Again, there's a fine line that you need to draw because over-information is not very good because people will stop reading. So again, these are decisions that you need to have within your school. These are events because, like, again, a lot of people wanted to see exactly what we do at the school. These are events that we have at our school, so you're most welcome to come and join us. And yes, we're almost done. I can see that there are people who have had a very good lunch and want this to get over very quickly. But let's get back to the New Zealand team. And like I said, this is a video that I show our staff, our faculty, exactly what we do to them. But we want to show them exactly why we do it. That comes down to our mission. Again, we as technology folks are here to support teaching and learning. We are not here to put restrictions. We are not here to stop people. We are here to basically take them on the journey to innovation. Like I said, the next part, the next generation, in this morning's message was about innovation. And we are here to basically support that. Thank you very much. Are there any questions that you'll have that I can answer? Yes.
Stuff that you mentioned there. So one of the problems that we have is that we're in Vietnam and Apple does not let us have VPP and DEP and things like that. So that becomes a huge hurdle for us to get over. Like, do you have any suggestions on how to deal with situations like that?
The only option that you have is basically you'll have to create a single, no, you have to create multiple IDs, and then you'll have to sync the apps. That's the only option right now from that you can do, because you can at least sync one on 5 devices. So one ID can be synced on 5 devices. That's the only legal option that you have. The other option that you have is if you could speak directly with Apple and ask them exactly is if they could give you, I mean, through one particular account, if you could have multiple.
Yeah, we've spoken with them. So maybe.
Yeah, so it's like I said, that's why I said in the very beginning, it's all region specific. So even that option is not even available in India as of now. So we basically create multiple IDs, and at the grade level, we give them we sync the apps to those particular IDs.
The other thing I just wanted to mention about the Microsoft licensing, when I actually did read the fine print and find the rules, it discovered they'd been overcharging us for about 5 years. So it is worth having a look.
Yeah, that comes down to the point of reading your agreements, in the sense is that keep revisiting those agreements as well. So it's not only about reading the agreements, but also revisiting them, in the sense is that we normally, after 6 months, we do a re-evaluation of all our vendors. So we check to see exactly the pricing that is available, visit events. These events are great events for connecting with people and finding out exactly what they're doing and what is their cost. So that's what we do. Another tip that we do is normally for our internet service providers, because we are a school and we operate between a particular time. So we asked them if they could downgrade the lines to, again, save on cost. So there are a lot of cost-saving measures that you can take. But again, like at this event, you can connect and you can learn a lot more from others as well. But good question, thank you. Is that it? Any more questions? Yes.
In terms of the agreements, any key points that you will actually look up for when you are reading the agreements?
I'm so sorry, I just cannot hear because it's reflecting on the...
Okay, for the agreements, you have encouraged us to go through and review the requirements, right? What are the key things that you think will, and then we should actually take a look when we actually reviewing?
Okay, so apart from the apps, there are the key thing is, again, what access are you giving information? What information are you giving access to? Sorry, that came out wrong, but what are you giving information from your system? That is one thing. Also, there are things like, he showed you a video on phishing, right? So, I thought it was a great tool to find out exactly from your staff, is like sending them an email and checking to see exactly if they're actually giving you the information. So the education piece of it is what you really need to stress on right now, is educating your users, finding out what people are using against you and educating your users. That is the only thing I can tell you right now, is that keep educating, keep basically creating the awareness. I do a security workshop with my staff every 3 months. I meet my finance team regularly. I think so every 2 weeks I'm meeting up with my finance team just to tell them exactly what kind of information is out there, what kind of emails you could receive. And this is only possible through an open organization, where you can walk into somebody's office and ask them and speak to them openly. If it's a closed office, I'll give you a very good example, and then I think so I'll finish off. One of the schools that we were working with received an email from the head of finance, please pay this amount to this particular account, no questions asked. The amount was transferred immediately to that particular account, and the email was not even sent by the head of department, because there was no openness. The clear instructions in this is basically what I give my finance department, is that if you receive any instruction for payment, whoever it is from, whether it's from inside the organization, or it is coming from outside, check with the person by giving them a call and finding out exactly whether they asked for that particular instruction. Okay? Sometimes a physical verification is very important. So these are security measures that you can take. And like I said, at ASB, it's a holistic education system. It's a complete community education system. It's not only the student, it is the student, the parents, the faculty, the staff, the administration staff, the bus desk, the security team. They're all part of these particular programs to basically, again, we need constant feedback coming into our system so we can make it much, much better. Is that it? All right, thank you very much.